Good morning. It's 10 a.m. in California, and I am doing this live stream today. It's a Q&A, and so I gathered some questions from Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and yeah, we're gonna be going through those questions and answering them. I'm probably gonna be live for 30 minutes. I want to accomplish just three things today. Number one, I want to get used to what is this whole live thing all about. I see it happening, and I'm just trying to get familiar with the format, to see if it's any use. If it is, then maybe I'll keep doing it. If it's not, maybe I'll make videos instead. Second thing I want to accomplish today, obviously it's a Q&A, so I want to answer all the questions that were received, and then if there are folks who pop into the live stream, feel free to send a comment or a question, and I'm going to check those periodically and answer those. And then the last thing I want to accomplish is to just get feedback on the live stream. I want the live streams to be some useful time where we can interact and maybe learn a little bit more about the company and the guitars. And so yeah, just want to do those three things today. I'm just trying to get familiar with live streams. I want to answer all the questions that were received, and I want to get some feedback on how to do these better in the future if we decide to keep doing these. All right, so I got to pull up the questions. Okay, so Justin Whitener, he asks, details on the actual build process would be cool. Also, additional details on the pickups, and if you're looking for a certain tone with them. And okay, so actual build process, everything's made from scratch. So the bodies, we buy these big hunks of wood and we chop them into body blanks. Usually the bodies are gonna be 2-piece or 3-piece. Usually if it's a 2-piece, we're gonna center, book match it in the center line. And then if it's 3 pieces, then usually the 3 pieces are all around the same size. So then the necks, we make those from scratch as well. Usually we will use, if it's a single type of wood that's used for the entire neck, then we'll either do a 1-piece neck or a 3-piece neck. And so for the 3-piece necks, we do that so that it makes for a stronger and more stable neck. And oftentimes we make our necks and fretboards from 2 separate pieces, and then we cut out the truss rod slot and then glue it in there, and then we glue the fretboard onto the neck, kind of sandwich like. That's why on the back of Citizen necks, let me grab one. On the back of Citizen necks, there's no skunk stripe like you would often see on Fenders and a bunch of other guitars. It's because just the way we build our guitars. And I guess while we're at it, we tend to do these angled headstocks, and so there's a scarf joint there. And I'd like to do that because it saves from having to install those string trees up here, and it just makes my life a little easier. So getting back to Justin's question, details on the actual build process. So our factory is overseas. It's in China. We invested and built our own factory over there. Technically, I've been working in guitar manufacturing for 20 years and started in 2006. So the first factory we built, it was in 2006, and then we moved to we kind of outgrew that first factory because it was our first. I mean, we converted it was sort of an abandoned like elementary school, and so the layout wasn't great. So we outgrew that. We moved to another factory, and that one we actually built from the ground up. So we did the foundation and did all the walls and figured out the floor plan that we wanted, and we built it we built the factory from scratch. And then that was our second factory. The third factory, we actually, so the government changed the zoning, and so overnight, basically, they said, "Hey, you got to move," and so we had to move. So that third factory is where all the Citizen guitars are being made now, and at the time, it was very inconvenient because we had to stop production and we had to, what do you call it, spend a bunch of money to build another factory from scratch. So we did that. At the end of it, though, this third factory where we're manufacturing right now, it's by far the best production facility compared to the previous two. So we leveled up in terms of our production facility every time, and so that was kind of nice. I plan to travel over there and document some of the build process because just to show exactly what it looks like, what our spray booth looks like, what machines we're using. We use CNCs, we've got lasers, we do all our inlay work. But there's a really good video actually of the PRS factory in Indonesia. And if you've ever watched it, or if you want to go watch it, a lot of the processes that they do at that factory are pretty similar to the way that we're set up. It's only that the PRS factory is on a much, much larger scale than us. So, okay, next question. Timothy Hart says, Citizen guitars are made for worship. Please tell us about the features and design elements that make Citizen guitars specifically suited for the modern church musician. It's morning over here and I haven't had coffee, so I'm gonna have some coffee. Oh, I see hold on, I gotta check the chat here. Gems Go, hi Jeff, lead times, Kyle's here. Hey Kyle, hey Alex B Media from South Africa. Awesome. And Anna Girau. Hey, thanks for joining me, and I honestly didn't think anybody was going to join, so praise the Lord. Okay, back to Timothy Hart's question. Citizen guitars are made for worship, so tell us about the features and design. Okay, so really quickly, made for worship, it's not so much in the perspective of the guitar specs and features are made for worship and it's magically going to give you the worship sound, whatever that is, and it's gonna somehow honor God more. It's none of that. It's made for worship is actually, it's a shortened version of why the company got started to begin with. And so the longer version of made for worship, which is now our company's slogan, the longer version of that is Citizen Guitar Company exists to provide quality instruments to church musicians as they serve in worship and at their church. So the perspective is that we made the guitars ultimately for the purpose that they would hopefully be used in a worship context. So as far as the features and specs, I mean, players are really diverse. There's players who want active pickups, players who want passive, some want more hotter output pickup, some people want really low output stuff. And so, yeah, I think it's not so much about the specs and the features, but it's more about that we hope and pray that the guitars would be used in worship settings. So we made it for worship. That's what made for worship means. That said, I'm going to always try to configure the guitars and use features and specs and components that church musicians in the modern context are constantly seeking, like, you know, the little side markers that glow on the neck. I guess that's modern, right? Because, you know, like a vintage guitar, they might not have glow-in-the-dark side markers. And sometimes we use locking tuners, and that's more modern, I suppose. And, you know, roasted maple necks, that's more modern, I guess. And we have a new semi-hollow model that I'm personally really excited about, and I think it's pretty modern. It has a Evertune bridge, and that's the bridge that stays in tune forever. And it's also going to have active electronics for the pickups. It's not this guitar, I'm talking about another guitar. But the humbucker is going to be active. It's going to have a P90 in the neck that's going to be active. And there's going to be some really cool EQs, active EQs that can make the humbucker sound like a single coil. So yeah, I guess that's modern. All right, next question. I don't think I did that question very good justice, but I'm trying to move along because I'm only going to be here until 10:30, so that's another 20 minutes. Okay, Stuxy4321 says, quality control and customization. Those are his questions. So for quality control, I made a video about our quality control process, and I think maybe watching that video you could see more in detail, but pretty much I'm the last person that touches every guitar that ships. So I always check for things like, is the neck straight? Does it have the right amount of relief? Is the action low? Is the intonation dialed in? Are the pickups working and the switching, is all that stuff working? Are all of the screws and nuts and knobs and everything, are they snug and tight and not gonna be loose? Is the output jack solid? Just stuff that you would need to have. I mean, the guitars are touring grade, professional grade, so you have to make sure that all those things are gonna be able to just continue to perform week in, week out, and not, you know, you're not thinking about it. So yeah, I would suggest watching the quality control video I made because it shows a lot more in detail. Customization, oh man. Before Citizen Guitar Company, I was, and I still am, mostly a custom guitar builder, and did a lot of work for you know, producers and artists and just regular like weekend warrior guys too. But as far as customization, it's if you can think it and it's not illegal, then we can build it. There's a really cool guitar configurator tool on our website, and citizenguitars.com, I think it's /custom guitars or something, but you could generate mock-ups and customize almost every aspect of the guitar. So there's a lot there. I need to hop into the chat and answer the questions here. Okay, Gems says, what's the lead time for a CJ Pro with Lambertones? From a December 2nd order. Yeah, we are backlogged with orders for around 5 months. So if you ordered in December, then January, February, March, April, May or sooner. But May is a good, I would say May is a good ETA. Let's see. The worship genre these days isn't as defined as it used to be. This is Alex. So there's no one size fits all. That's why I respect just how many different options you guys are giving. Thanks. Yeah, I agree. Amen. Like, there's guys who play gospel, and there's guys who play CCM stuff, and then there's guys like me who don't even play electric guitar. I play acoustic guitar. So yeah, there's all sorts of different stuff. Modern hymns. Anyway, it's super diverse. I get it. Would you ever be up for trades for a custom LOL? Chewy Kool-Aid Kid. Right now we're not doing any trades, and yeah, we trade mostly in cash. Sorry. Let's see. But honestly, let me know what you have to trade. Send me an email, jeff@citizenguitars.com, and maybe, probably not. Okay, be polite. Have any Les Pauls? We have a Les Paul style model. It's called the Model CL, which I think this is a good time to explain why we name our models the way we do. A lot of the models start with the letter C. That stands for citizen. And then if there's a number after it, that means it's an original design. And so like the C1 was our first original design, and the C2 was our second original design, and you get, the point for that. If there's a letter, then that means we took from a classic design and just put our spin on it. So for example, the CT would be our version of a Telecaster. CL is our version of a Les Paul. We did a little bit of change on the cutaway. We did a different scale length. Yeah, we have a Les Paul style model, but there are some differences. It's not exactly the same. But we did try to remain kind of in the ballpark of what a Les Paul is, so that's why we chose mahogany for the body and the neck. We chose to install a maple cap on the body, and yeah, so that one's available on our website. I think right now there's two colors. There's a shoreline gold, and then there's a really nice espresso burst color that the flame maple on that one really pops. So I like that one a lot. Okay, Alex B Media, would you dudes ever do alternative wiring Gilmore? Oh yeah, Jazzmaster circuit style. Yes, 100%. And we do it all the time, actually. People, when you order on our website, there's a special instructions box, and that's where you just give us special instructions, and we can pretty much accommodate everything. Because again, my background is with custom builds, and so yeah, we can do a bunch of stuff. George says, just received my first Citizen guitar yesterday. Yeah, praise the Lord. Super excited to be part of the Citizen family. Okay, that is not a question, but hallelujah. Next question, on the flame tops, do you use a real flame top or a veneer? It's both. It really depends on the model. So if you want to get a thick flame maple cap, then that's probably going to be on a custom order, because for the production models, our focus is to get the price down. And when you add a cap, those things are expensive. And so on the production models, generally we're gonna put veneers. So a veneer is less than a millimeter thick. It's like a piece of paper basically, but it looks really nice. Whereas a cap, it's like a chunk of wood. And I had a thought about this a second ago, and hold on, give me a second. Oh yeah, because our production models have 3 different series or levels. So there's the standard series, there's the pro series, and there's the Apex series. Apex is the very top, and we actually haven't released any Apex series guitars yet, but they're in the works. On an Apex series guitar, the philosophy for the Apex series is we're going to throw everything that we have at the guitar, and we're not going to care about what the budget is. It's going to be the highest performance model, production model that you can get. And we're also not going to think about so much what are the needs of the customers, but we're more thinking in terms of us as the builders. What do we think is super cool? And we're gonna build it. So stuff like neck through bodies, and partial scalloped frets, and multi-laminate necks, and all sorts of cool stuff like that. That's the Apex series. So if we put a flamed maple top on an Apex series model, it's certainly going to be a cap, not a veneer. Okay, Edward Leung says, would you consider making acoustic guitars? We are currently prototyping 2 acoustic guitars. One is a Dreadnought, the other one's like an OM style. The bracing style is gonna be like a Martin, and the reason for that is because I play Martin, my pastor plays Martins, my wife plays Martins, and so we're kind of like in the Martin, we're fans of the Martin guitars. And so, yeah, we got 2 prototypes going, and we'll see. If they're good, then we'll sell them. If they're not good, then we will not sell them. Planning to do LR bags, Anthem for the pickups for those. And yeah, I'm excited to see those because, like I said earlier, I don't actually play electric guitar at church. I am always on acoustic guitar, and I doubt that the Citizen acoustic guitar is going to replace my Martin, because that Martin is really, really nice. All right, next question. Do you guys ever do natural grain finishes? This is Bucky Man. Natural grain finishes. Hold on. This is the Citizen Model CT Classic, and it's a natural gloss finish on the body. And yeah, this one looks like a 3-piece neck, or sorry, 3-piece body. And natural finish on the back of the neck, natural finish on the headstock. So yes, we do. Oh man, I gotta beat the clock. So we got 7 more minutes on the live stream. So let me check the question. Gems says, thank you for what you do, Jeff. My grandma gave me money to buy my dream guitar, and as a remembrance of her, to be used at church serving, and I'm glad I found your company. That's very special. Yep, thank you, Gems. David says, super thankful for the CS Pro you built. Seriously think about it every day on the way to work that it's crazy your team built me a guitar. Hey, David. Yeah, we're very glad to work with you on that guitar. That was a cool guitar. Okay, so there's not many questions in the comments. I'm gonna go back to the other question bank that I had. I gotta pull it up on my computer. Okay, questions. Okay, so Casey Greer asks, would you guys ever consider building basses? Yes, we actually have basses. We have a 4-string as a jazz model. We're working on a P bass style, and we've got a 5-string multi-scale bass. We've got a 5-string single-scale bass, which I don't know if you know. I think a lot of people know. There's a guy, his name is Sheree Reed. If you haven't heard of him, look him up on YouTube. He's got this awesome Joy to the World video. He's got our 5-string jazz bass, so you could check that out. It's got like 8 million views. Anyway, it's a pretty cool video. He's not playing a Citizen in that video, but he's playing our stuff now. Okay, Zach Pruitt says, would you guys ever branch into amps? No, I don't know anything about amps. Probably not until the distant future, until we can hire somebody or buy a company that, but yeah, no. Ben asks, you are marketing your guitars towards the praise and worship crowd. Am I allowed to use your guitar for a different scenario like jazz or soft rock? I don't see why not. Yeah, there's no problem with that. Like jazz, what is his name? Paul Jackson Jr., is it? Yeah, he's got a lot of nice smooth jazz, and he also does a lot of praise and worship stuff. Okay. All right, I'm coming back into the chat because there's live questions. How do you test tone? Do you have a variety of amps and pedals? Glory Bound 1313. How do we test tone? I've got a couple amps, and I don't know much about amps. Let me just, hold on. I'm on my phone so I could show you the amps that we got. One of them's a Synergy amp, which I guess has amps in the amp. So it's got the Morgan, it's got the Friedman, and you can just kind of go through the different amps there. So that's what I do for guitar. And then for bass, I got this Mesa. This thing's pretty powerful. And then here's the speaker cabinet. And then the other guys who are on the technicians in the other room over there, they have Fender amps. But that's how we test it. And what else does it say? Do I have a variety of pedals? No, I don't. Okay, you guys are all gonna laugh at me. Hold on, let me get the first pedal I've ever purchased, which was within the last 6 months. I'm gonna go get it. All right, so I don't know anything about pedals. I only make guitars, but I bought this thing, and honestly, I don't really like it. So I just plug in straight to the amp. Okay, next question. What are you guys taking here? I'm new to the stream. I'm taking, or taking? We're talking about Citizen guitars. We're talking about, it's just a Q&A, so folks can ask questions and I'm just answering. So yeah, Citizen Guitar Company is my company. I founded it with my wife, and we're just trying to make the best guitars and basses that we can, and hopefully people use them at church for worship. So I guess that's what we're talking about. Glory Bound asks, how would you describe your Citizen pickups? Are they on the brighter side or more neutral? So we have 2 pickups. There's the standard series stuff. Those are made in Korea. The Pro series are made in USA. The Pro stuff, it's on the brighter side. It's like a vintage kind of output. Coil split's really nice. The The standard series has a bit hotter output, and they're kind of like a JB, Seymour Duncan. So yeah. All right, guys, it's 10:30. I wear a bunch of hats here. Like I do the emails, I work on the guitars, and so that's gonna be it today for the live stream. And so yeah, I guess if this live stream thing is useful, then let me know somehow so that I can figure out if I want to keep doing this, because it's really weird for me to, like, I've never watched live streams, and this is the first live thing I've ever done, so it's kind of weird. I don't consider myself a content creator. I don't aspire to be. I'm just trying to get the word out about what we're doing and trying to, be useful to people. And so, yeah, thanks for coming online, guys. I really appreciate it. And yeah, God bless you all, and have a great, wonderful rest of your day or evening or wherever you are. Yeah, adios, everybody. I don't even know how to end this end the stream. What do I do? X. Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Yes, I want. Okay, I'm really leaving now. Okay, bye. Adios.